What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Trusted Tape. It's good to see you, baby. My name is Jeff
My name is Jeff.
Kavanaugh. I am next to a former Cowboy scout, the greatest drafter of all time. Please see Philadelphia Eagles 1998. The great and powerful Bryan Broaddus. You are this button?
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
Jeffrey, good morning, sir.
Good to see you. I'd like to apologize to the audience that watches live for being 8 minutes late. I saw a stand-up comedian who I think summed it up well. If I went back to the past with a time machine and told them I was from the future, I could not prove it. Do I know why things don't work when you hit buttons? No. Do I know how any of technology works? No. But when we hit go live, it wouldn't work. So I rebooted the computer, and here we are. We're ready to rock. How you doing, Bryan? Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. I know we're a little late. That's my fault. My fault. Although technically it's a computer's fault or a website's fault. I don't know. But we're here now. Hey, Bri.
Jeffrey, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Would you like to start with how the Cowboys can get on this giant win streak by beating the Broncos, or would you like to start with some guys that are, as Jerry Jones would say, on the come?
Yeah, I will. How about that? We'll do the Jerry Jones. We'll do the Jerry Jones first. I will say this though. I do know some information about Cooper Beebe and his availability. The plan this week was to get him involved in the practices to get his 21-day window open, and they did that. And so every day they've tried to add a little bit more to his plate. On Wednesday, he had a good day. They said, all right, Thursday, let's see what we can do Thursday. Thursday turned into a good day for him as well. They're going to see what they have today, but it's trending in the right direction for Cooper Beebe to be available this weekend as they face the Denver Broncos.
So, Bryan, I talk to a lot of people. Probably I don't talk as much as you do, but I talk a decent amount. And so I forget who tells me certain things, but I feel like this might have been you. And I feel like I fall in line with whoever said this in watching the Cowboys over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Was it you who said, like, Brock Hoffman, good for 2 or 3 weeks if you need
That's
him?
me.
Not
That's
so
me.
good if you. So the last 2 weeks as I'm watching Hoffman, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get Beebe back.
Yeah.
And God bless Brian Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams and Connor Riley and Dak Prescott and George Pickens while CeeDee was out and CeeDee Lamb and Javonte Williams. I mean, they, on the whole, boy, they keep scoring 30 and more, and like they just keep freaking trucking. But when you go watch each guy individually, I want Cooper Beebe back. It's time.
Yeah. Well, especially in this game, Jeff, because we're going to likely talk about with the problems you had in Carolina running the football and handling the inside portion of the Carolina defense was clear. It was one of the reasons why you were not successful in that football game, especially running the ball. And Denver presents the same challenges, not with guys that we know, that these household names, as we like to say. I don't think that Zach Allen, DJ Jones, and John Franklin Myers are on your Hall of Fame ballots. But I'll tell you what, they all play like at a very, very high level. Zach Allen, especially. This is a defensive line group that probably doesn't get enough credit as they deserve. Everybody likes to talk about, Cooper and Bonitto and what they do on the edge, but the inside guys really affect how you play. And it also allows a guy like Alex Singleton, the linebacker, to play at such a high level as well. So yeah, the challenge of having, the thing about having Smith and Booker and Beebe all back together, at least it gives you that good fighting chance against their inside three. And that's why you built this team. That's why you drafted Booker. That's why you drafted Beebe. It's why you drafted Smith, to play in football games like this one.
Yeah, and I didn't think that Tyler Booker had his best day pass blocking, but I'm glad to have Tyler Booker back because I think it's very important for this team if you want to keep things rolling the way that they are. to smash people in the dang face. And I think that he gives you your best chance to do that. So it's nice to have Tyler Booker back. TJ Bass, I thought, did a nice job filling in for him.
Sure did.
But I'm ready to get all of the guys back because
Yeah.
you're going to need them if we're going to get a streak going. Now, 2 wins is a streak, and we are trying to get a streak going. Now, we did have a question from Selvin in the standard chat that I wanted to highlight. He said, "Are you guys cool?" Look, I need to tell everybody something about the last episode of Trust the Tape. I was just caught off guard. I wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was going to be the day that I had to defend CeeDee Lamb. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready, but now I'm ready. And look, Brian and I might get in a real fight on Trust the Tape. It could happen.
It could.
But at the end of the day, we're going to have a crawfish boil and drink some cold daddies, go hang out with Tailgate USA and have ourselves a time. Okay. Don't you guys worry about us.
Yeah. No, I just, every once in a while, I got to keep you honest. I got to just,
ready.
You asked me you didn't ask me this time for what I wanted to talk about.
No,
no. So I just went ahead. No, I just, I feel like to me, Dallas, again, equipped in this football game. When you start to have to deal with Patrick Surtain and, Vance Joseph has a difficult task ahead of him. He's got really good players on his defense that he could use to his advantage. He's going to have to sit one in Dre Greenlaw at linebacker. That's going to hurt him. But Dallas is equipped to play, as I say, along the offensive line. They're equipped at the running back spot. They're equipped at the quarterback. You've got a huge advantage in this game at quarterback. You really, really do. And but you got advantages to wide receiver. There's things that that Denver have struggled with. I think the Giants game might have been a look ahead game. I think the Giants have gotten better because of the quarterback. I think they've gotten better because of that running back.
Yeah,
and their offensive line. I think their offensive line's playing at a better level. It's unfortunate, they lost that game for them, but Denver, I think Denver maybe in a look ahead game, and they survived it. And here we go. But if you really, really study the teams that Denver has faced, there's not an offense like this one that they've played. Now the Colts in week 2 did a really good job against them. Colts ran the ball better. There were things that they attacked this defense on that was pretty good, but your quarterback's playing at a really high level. Your receivers are playing at a really high level. Your running back's doing a great job. Your line, everything is kind of focusing into this is going to be probably the best offense that Denver, and I'm including Denver played Philadelphia, and I'm including Dallas's offensive line is possibly better than Philadelphia's offense right now.
Well, and Philadelphia so far this year just hasn't had a good offense. And we know that the players are good, and they've started to unlock it because they've rediscovered the forward pass, it looks like, which can be a part of an NFL offense. And I think that's why it's so important that the Cowboys have everything, especially in a game like this. I think having both of the monster receivers that you have as the Cowboys, this defense
tied in too.
Yeah. And I think that this defense is a great illustration of why you need all of that, because they do have one of the best corners in football. And at any given time, he'll be covering one of your awesome wide receivers. And they also have a defense that when you dip your toe into the data den, and I know we both dip into the data den, their run defense is top 10 in the NFL, but their run defense is not nearly as good when they're playing a light box and the teams are running football. And one of their coaches said it yesterday where he was like, well, what the Cowboys do a really good job of is everybody's playing them with a shell defense. They want to have 2 deep safeties. They don't want to give anything up big in the passing game. And that's when the Cowboys are able to run the ball the best. And if you don't do that defensively, if you want to dare Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens to beat you, I dare you to dare them. And so, this having all of that at your disposal lets you look at one of the best corners and be like, that's cool. And I'm not scared of you.
Yeah.
But I also, when I look at what you guys are running, if it's all equal on both sides, I'm real happy over there.
Yeah.
And if you guys are going to be back there, I'm real happy handing it to this guy. And I think having all of that together against this particular defense
Yeah.
gives you a good chance to keep cruising, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think to me that when you look at, I just think the quarterbacks, like I said earlier, I think the quarterbacks are completely Dallas has the huge advantage in this one.
Yeah.
And when you start to talk about play callers, I think that Sean Payton has a great history, Super Bowl winning coach as a play caller. He's navigated some really outstanding offenses through his days. And I think that Brian Schottenheimer's and his staff has done a really good job of, getting their guys in the right positions, the right plays. You had a quarterback executing at a very, very high level. This is a good thing to have. But the Denver defense, I think, is they're unique because they are not heavy one way or another when it comes to whether they're playing man or zone. I think they play the second most man coverage in the league, but they are really balanced when it comes to. You usually get these numbers where it's like, oh, 80% zone, 20% man. Nah, Denver's like 55% zone, 45% man. I mean, they're very, very balanced. They're single high, they're right about 60% on that. Split safety right around 20%. So, Dak is you play man against him, he's just fine. You play tight window stuff, he's just fine. How can you block the front? How can you block the front? Are you going to be able to, with Nick Bonitto and then Jonathan Cooper, the way they get off the ball is going to be key in this game because you're playing, of course, in Denver. The crowd noise, Denver's fans are unique in that way. I mean, that they are really loud. And so can Steele, can Guyton with a little help, maybe with a little help, a little spacing, can they do some things to kind of control? Because I think Dallas can control the inside three. It's on the edges. It could be a little bit of some concern. You got to kind of determine how you want to handle that. But man, this game, to me, Jeff, is really going to come down to can the front of the pocket stay firm where Dak could step up and throw? And another thing I think you need to think about doing is when you want to run against this team, because what happens is they get after you on second and third down. So what you might want to think about doing is their sack numbers don't happen like on first down. You want to maybe you want to try early pass. I think early pass in this game is really good. And then second down run, third down run. I think those are kind of where you need to make some hay because if they get you in third down, then this is where it's a problem. But their sack numbers are just as good on second down as they are on third down. So you have to be very mindful of that if you're Brian Schottenheimer calling this game. You have to say, okay, do I want to run early? Or excuse me, do I want to throw early and then mix in runs on second and third down to kind of try and keep Vance Joseph in this Denver pass rush from getting after you?
We got a super chat from Andrew here. He said, I love Overshown, but is Jerry really trying to sell to the fans that with him and Revel that we'll be okay defensively? Love the game last week, but I still don't trust the defense as it is now. And I
Yeah,
don't think you're supposed to trust the defense as it is now. I think they had a really good week. I think their plan was right. I do think they were more sound at everybody just doing their job, but I also think
good
it looks a lot
fits,
better.
really good fit. Yeah,
But when you know uh, there's nobody out there that you're scared of at wide receiver, I think that's a little bit different. But a big part of what it was that people just did their job. Like,
mm,
everybody
pretty
was in their
simple.
gaps. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing when
pretty,
you
pretty
just, hey,
simple.
do
Yeah,
your job and let's see if your job
yeah,
is to be there. Let's not let them go there. You be there because somebody
yeah.
else will handle it when they go there. Okay. If you guys could just do
Oh.
that, that's a nice starting point. And so if you could just do that for one more week, that would be nice.
Yeah, you get a quarterback last week that it was the numbers told you, and we talked about this in our game coverage, was the numbers told you to play man coverage against Daniels. He's not as efficient against man as he is against zone.
Well, he
You know,
wasn't making
that's
great throws either.
no, that's the thing about it is, all of a sudden, yeah, it helps that they don't have, you know, Debo Samuel and Terry McLaurin. That It clearly helps. The run, you knew they were going to come in and try and run the ball. They were one of the better run offenses in the league. And you shut down Krosky Merritt and that crew. You got the quarterback runs are happen, but man, you did not get overrun like you did in Carolina. That was my biggest concern. But they played some 9-man box. I mean, they had guy. I mean, it's like, okay, try and be just throwing the football. This week it's more probably playing zone against this guy. This guy is not a great passer when it comes to having to deal with zone coverages. I know if folks are listening right now, it drives them absolute nuts to hear me say that. But you need to attack the right side of this offensive line, and you need to play some zone coverage and make sure that this guy, make him have to stand in that pocket and make some throws, reading some stuff, because this is a team that doesn't do a lot of motions. I mean, this is very unlike Sean Payton, but the lack of motions is probably because his young quarterback, he just wants to keep everybody static and let him read that and not have to read with movement and stuff and changing. Only I think the Tennessee Titans and the Giants, the only other teams that run less motion than what the Denver Broncos are doing right now. And that's because you look at the look at Tennessee, rookie quarterback, look at the Giants, rookie quarterback. Just keep everything static and let them read. And that might play into Dallas's advantage to help them with communication.
Yeah, I think for a lot of young quarterbacks, it's just like that's what they're used to, right? Picture Bo Nix at Oregon, like spread it out as far as you can. I think like Evan Ingram, I saw the numbers. He lines up almost 70% of the time in the slot. Well, Marvin Mims lines up in the slot too. So what that tells you is they're just running a lot of spread. And with a whole bunch of spread, we don't really need to move around. We're going to hopefully make everything really simple on our quarterback and see what happens. Nix is a crazy one because I don't know what to say about Bo Nix. Like yesterday, someone was like, is Bo Nix a good NFL quarterback? And I said, well, when he came in the league, I thought, yeah, kind of. And then after he'd played a little bit, it was like, okay, I can't really think that. He's not very good. And then after a little while longer, it was like, hey, you can't deny that he's good.
Yeah.
And you watch him and you're like, I'm not sure. Because he is one of the most scrambling quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
But his results on scrambles overall are not good. But a lot of the plays, it is where they do their best stuff. And so I don't really know. Bo Nix is
I thought Bo Nix
good, and he's not when he's not.
Yeah, I thought Bo Nix at Auburn was awful. I did.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was, and then you watch him at Oregon, and they did a great job with him. Dan Lanning and that crew did a great job with him. And he had a quality offensive line, his ability to throw the football, the receivers, they did a great job. And then I remember talking to Sean Payton pre-draft about him. Sean goes, "Hey, what do you think about Bo Nix?" And I go, "I don't know, coach. I'm just kind of, I was kind of just doing my scout speak and kind of giving him an honest opinion." He goes, "You're really wrong about him. You know that, right?" And I go, "Well, that's just what I see." And he goes, "Yeah, but you're wrong. You know you're wrong."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And slot him down there like in the third round, and Sean takes him where he takes him, and then Sean gets him to play at a high level, and you're like, God dang, he did it to me again, But but like I say, his scrambling could be the difference in this game. It very well could be the difference in this game. If Dallas, doesn't handle that particularly well, yes, making him sit in the pocket and make those throws. I mean, if he could beat me throwing the football, God bless him. But where he could really beat me is like drop back, he sees a lane, and now it's a 26-yard run. That's where he could really hurt me.
What would be really nice, and it doesn't matter because it's not happening, would be if Overshown was back this week. Because what I really like with the scrambling quarterbacks is
run them down.
Yeah,
run
when
them
they
down.
get confused one time.
Yeah.
Like Parsons would do that to people at least once a week, and Overshown can do the same thing. Where if you're a scrambling quarterback and you're a fast runner and you take off running and then someone teleports and you get hit and you're like, what?
Where did he come from?
I don't understand. Like Overshown could do some of that. And so I'm looking forward to getting him back, but none of that matters.
I'll tell you what, Shamar James could do that a little bit.
He can move. Sucker can move.
James.
Did you see the nerd stuff on his sack? Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't even mugged up. He was lined up
Yeah.
off the ball on
Yeah,
his sack
no.
fumble, and his
That's what he
time to that
did.
sack was the second fastest in the NFL this year,
Yeah, it
and he
was
did it from
that's
4 yards off.
that's what they do. That's what he did at Florida.
Sucker
He didn't
can
put him in
run.
coverage. Didn't put him in coverage. By the way, I was watching a guy too this morning, Logan Wilson from Cincinnati.
Yeah, go get him.
It's got some similar. Now, he's very similar to what you have, but he can really, really run. He can really, really run. That's the thing with Logan Wilson.
I have a random question for you because DeMarvion Overshown's Twitter account is my new favorite thing, and not just because he loves responding to our DLLS Cowboys account. You can watch that show every day at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
He tagged Jesse in something where he said something about him, and then he quote tweeted one and talked about Clarence Hill, those are my co-hosts, and it's great. But one of them, there was a picture, and it was him in practice standing next to Shamar James.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, I should hit reply. I thought about it. I typed it out, and then I was like, I don't need to be tagging players and asking them questions. It's just weird. But I thought about asking him, like, because I can't see the strength of the formation. But what I wanted to know was, who's the Mike?
Yeah.
Like, if Shamar James and DeMarvion Overshown were your linebackers, well, boy, we can fly.
I think I'd put James there. I think I would let Overshown run. I keep Overshown free. I think Overshown. Now we'll see.
James would be a little middle linebacker.
Well, maybe like
I agree. I mean, you want
Roquan Smith short, I mean, there's shorter. I mean, we kind of this new way of playing linebackers and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just to me, you watch like a guy like Overshown. This is the thing that I don't know about Overshown. I don't know. I know what the player was before his knee got hurt. I hope that's the same player. I mean, he's talking like this is an old man reference here. There was a show called The $6 Million Man, and it sounds like they put bionic legs and stuff on him and stuff now. I mean, he's talking about, well, I could do this. I could jump faster. I mean, jump higher. I could run faster. I could do, man, I hope because before the injury, I just want that kid to have 4 or 5 years of really good health where he never, ever gets hurt again. I think he served his injury, penance in the NFL. I think now it's time for him to have a rest of his career where he could just go be a player. But I don't know. I hope he's that guy that can cover a lot of ground.
That's what he tagged Jesse in, because we were talking about how he said he's faster, stronger, jumps higher, and all that stuff. And
Colonel
Jesse
Steve Austin. Yeah.
Jesse was doing like a face like this, and he tagged him. Was like, I see the face you're making, Jesse. I can prove it or whatever. And Jesse's like, I have no doubt he's stronger, because in rehab you spend a ton of time doing that on that leg. But if you think you can run a faster 40 after blowing out all the ligaments in your knee,
I wouldn't doubt this kid. I wouldn't doubt him.
He is the wrong kind of guy to doubt. He's the wrong kind of guy to doubt.
Don't. Yeah, he's the prove you wrong guy. He's very much a, hey, I proved you wrong guy. And you're like, oh, yeah, he's right. But I'd love him to get back to where he was pre-knee. But like I said, I want him the rest of his career to have health. He's suffered enough. He really has. I mean, 2 years of having to deal with stuff. Yeah. Football gods, allow him just to go play football, please.
Now, have you heard anything about Shavon Revel? I mean, in theory, I guess within 3 weeks he'll be active.
They're going to use all 21 days. They're going to use all 21 days.
Okay.
Him, Overshown, those guys they're going to use all 21 days, and then the practice days and stuff like that. So yeah, but he got a setback in training camp. That's what happened. He got a setback, and he had a setback in training camp. He did, and so he had to get past that, and so now here we are, and he's starting to practice, and good for him. But yeah, him and Overshown, they're gonna use all 21 days, and then we'll see what happens after that.
James wants to know any updates on Winfrey, because I will tell you, it's a fun game watching the carousel of they watch Toya play and they're like, no. And so they put Mozzie active the next week. And then they watch Mozzie play and they go, no. And so they make Toya active the next week.
This is a coach's decision. This is a coach's decision here.
Okay, so he could play.
He could absolutely play. It's coach's decision here.
How big is he? Can he not be a nosy type?
6'5". He played nosy type at Oklahoma. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like a 280, 285 guy.
Okay, so
That's
he's
where we're at.
smaller. They probably
Yeah,
just want
but he is
bigger.
super. Yeah, I mean he's very similar but strength wise he's very similar to what you have with say what you have with Solomon Thomas, say what you have with Osa, that
Yeah.
kind of, but probably same kind of guy, but that same kind of quickness, but maybe a little bit stronger than those guys. Solomon Thomas has been playing pretty well for you.
He has. Like, he's been a weird roller coaster. Like, each week
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, there he goes. He's just too small for this." And then it's like his psycho activity and getting off the ball. It's like, "Oh, there he made another play. Hold on now."
Yeah, he's good.
He's an interesting one. Yeah, if Winfrey's healthy, I would be interested in seeing him take the spot that they just keep flipping back and forth,
Yeah.
Toya and Mozzie, but maybe they just want to have one guy, the fourth guy, just be a bigger guy.
Yeah.
At least you picture as a power guy. But let me get some Perry on Winfrey. Do you believe that the Cowboys are going to stand pat with their football team, or do you believe that we're going to
They're going
get
to trade.
outside help? We're going to get some outside help?
We're going to trade.
Big or small?
Big.
Position?
Let's look at end.
Which one? Who's it going to be?
I think they're going to stay after that guy on the West Coast. I think they're going to stay after. I think they're going to stay after you got the Raiders.
I do like as soon as it's announced that, like, you know, insiders are saying, no, they're not willing to trade him. They're not listening to offers. Then the Raiders start sending out promo videos with Crosby.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
because you know why? Because Trey Wingo was absolutely right. Trey Wingo was absolutely right. He got somebody in their organization to tell him that they were interested in moving the player and Dallas was involved. And Dallas will deny it and say, no, we weren't involved. But Dallas, you know, listen, this is they had to throw water on this thing. It was going, you know, it was like a California brush fire. It was just engulfing everything. I think that I am if I'm Dallas, I am going after. I'm talking to all these defenses. I mentioned about Logan Wilson and guys like that. I mean, I'm talking about all these defensive players, linebackers, defensive ends, safeties, Miami. Let's see what happens at Miami. You know, let's see what happens with all their players. But I wouldn't listen. I'm making the Raiders absolutely tell me no. I am. I mean, if you want to, I'm going to keep asking every day. I'm going to call if I'm Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. I'm calling up Mark Davis every day, and I'm going to say, hey, you know, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? Tell me what's going to take.
So when I tell you that the answer is, this is just my wild guess, because at first I was thinking, boy, if you could get Crosby for a first round pick, but upon further thought, like, I think it's two of them. Like,
yeah, it is. It is.
So if it's two first round picks, you good with that?
Yeah, I am.
I am too.
I am too. You know,
what
I mean,
Pickens?
Hey, I don't know if you're going to see an offense like this again here.
What if it costs you Pickens? What if the Crosby salary?
You told me the other day. Figure it out. We can figure it out. You can.
Well, yeah, but then you would reverse it and say the Joneses say they can't. So now I get to play the reverse card. What if they say?
You convinced me, Jeff. You convinced me.
Okay. Yes, they absolutely can.
They can't. No. I mean, they can. I mean, but they'll tell you, well, we've got this and that. But no, to me, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll ever have George Pickens again. I don't know if I'll ever have Williams running the ball like this again. I don't know if I'll have Dak playing at an MVP level. I don't know if I'm gonna have this offensive line. I'm not going to into the season and all of a sudden have a top 2-3 offense and not get in the playoffs and wonder what the hell happened and I didn't try something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I'm not the Joneses. I think they are going to try something. I'm just, hey, am I willing this a little bit? Sure. But I know one thing, if I was in that building with them right now, I would be pushing to get something done. Absolutely. I mean, and if it takes the 2 1s, let's go. I mean, let's we're looking at even like you say, if it's both Green Bay's ones, if it's this one and this there, and then the following year, fine. You know, it's just like when you traded Micah, everybody goes, oh, those are just like 2 2s. Well, what are you doing? You're going to give 2 2s back for Max Crosby?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah. And I mean, but I'd also look, I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket either. I'm looking down there at Miami. I'm looking at their guys. You know, I'm hunting. I'm hunting health. I don't want this offense to be wasted, this performance to be wasted on not trying. You know, I'm doing everything in my power to make something happen.
Let's hammer the supers. Roman Wolf Gaming. Trade Diggs for a D end or D tackle, maybe a good pick. Does Diggs have trade value is my question.
Yeah, the question about Diggs is people are going to see he's not healthy, and coaches are going to get on the phone and they're going to talk about what a horse's ass Diggs is to have to deal with. That's what coaches do. I'm not saying that. I'm not calling him a horse's ass myself. I'm just saying that they're going to coaches get on the phone. If you're one of these teams that's talking about trading for Diggs, coaches get on the phone and call other coaches who call other coaches, and well, I heard this. I heard this. That kid's going to get killed. He's going to get killed because he's like, does he really want to play? How injured is he? Is he coachable? You know, all that crap goes into this.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole thing with George Pickens. It's the whole thing with George Pickens. You call the Pittsburgh, well, hey, this guy, he's late to meetings, he's this, that, and the other. And then you're like, okay, fine. You trade for him, and what happens? He's one of your better players.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything against Diggs. I'm just saying that the court of public opinion and coaching will probably kill that kid's value.
Yeah, Night 405, same thing. Diggs involved in the trade. I mean, I feel like the Cowboys would throw Diggs into literally anything if a team was interested. That's what
they would.
That's how I think they feel about it. All City wants to know, would you trade a first and a third for Jeffrey Simmons? I mean, how many D tackles do I have to have that make $20-something million?
Jeffrey Simmons is a damn good player.
He'd be your best D tackle for sure.
He'd be your best D tackle for sure. But
he'd be your best defensive player right now.
I think the biggest problem you have is your pass rush situation, right?
Right. And he can help with that.
Yeah. He can help. Yeah, sure. Get inside pressure. Yeah, this guy, this guy's dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury now. You wonder if he's just kind of slow playing things until the trade deadline, to be able to, get healthy and ready to go.
And J-Dog said every team has a price. Remember, we weren't trading Micah until we were trading Micah. The Raiders have a price. Well, hopefully
this is a good, no, he's not going to. They're really close. This is really, but this is where he is absolutely right. I sat there at the outdoor restaurant there at Nobu in Malibu and with Stephen Jones, and he looked me in the eye and told me, he goes, I'm not trading Micah Parsons. Yeah. I'm not going to trade Micah Parsons. There's no reason. But then Micah Parsons made him mad or made Jerry mad, and then they traded him. But the intent was, why would I do that? Why would I want to, But everybody, he's right. Everybody has a price. And at some point in time, maybe that price gets met by Mark Davis and the Raiders. And the Raiders need a full rebuild. They just need a full rebuild. There's a lot of things. That extra ones could help them in the future for sure.
All right, Bryan Broaddus, have yourself a day. All right.
You do the same, Jeffrey. Thank you, man.
Everybody, make sure you're following Crown Global Media on YouTube. Make sure you're listening to The Fan and Cowboys.com. Make sure you're checking out the DLLS Cowboys podcast on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. You can hear me on there 5 days a week, including a pre and post game, which Bryan also does on The Fan. Okay, you got everything. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through.